Good afternoon, folks of SpeedGaming 2. We are just about finished getting set up here for our last round here of the first round of Swiss. Today we are featuring Red Corona versus Elias Thompson. My name is Baja Blood. I'm joined here in the commentator booth by Schwartz. How you doing, Schwartz?
I am doing dandy today.
And we've got Op 82 with us, doing the tracking on both sides. Much appreciated. And just a little bit of technical difficulty on some other runners' end, but should have it cleared up shortly, and we will be able to get ourselves underway.
All right, now, what do you expect out of this race today, Baja?
Sure. It should be a pretty good one. We've got a couple kind of tournament veterans here. Elias has been in each of the last three solo prime tournaments. They can top 8 each time. Whereas Red, I don't know if he was in the last Prime 1 tournament, but he certainly was in CGC and put us some good showings there as well.
Yep, I know Red personally. He's a pretty good Prime player. He personally hates Echoes, so he's devoted his whole life to Prime. So hopefully that'll make up for the absence of Echoes knowledge. Will make up in his Prime knowledge.
Unfortunate opinion there, but I suppose we'll have to tolerate it for tonight's broadcast.
Guess so. Yeah, wasn't Callum Red's CGC partner?
I thought it was Red and Nye, because I remember Red the Bath.
Red the Bath, that's right. Yeah. I'd be partnered up with Sam. Yeah, we haven't thought of a name yet, but gotta wait until it's concrete first. And that's right, Zeno and Callum. Thank you. Personally, for this seed, I would really enjoy it if we didn't get a very loaded start. We've been having a lot of just like potential jet seeds for this first week. We've had some that have taken like close to 2 hours, but I don't think any races have actually exceeded that.
I personally am a fan of late core progression that isn't beams, like late bombs, late space jump, late PBs, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. I find pretty interesting. We've all done our beam hunts before, as common as they are, so maybe we'll keep it fresh. Put a space jump on Thartis, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just not plasma on Thartis. Lord knows that I don't ever want to see that again.
Yeah, that's pretty bad plasma location, especially if you're waiting to have plasma to speed up the Thartis fight before doing it. Similar with, bombs on Thartis is kind of really trash too, just because it's a really tough sell to do it without. Well, we randomize all the item locations. We've got logic to ensure the seed is beatable. Some beginner tricks are expected. For instance, you'll see the runners do the space jump first trick that pretty much any speedrun's going to start off with to get the item in Alco, which is space jump in vanilla. We are going to be looking for 6 artifacts spread across the game world, and then enough other items to beat our final bosses.
Yes, for Go mode, I'm pretty sure we need all beams to fight Metroid Prime, but there is a potential really hard wall crawl that people can opt to do, which we probably won't see either of our players doing. So for the time being, we need all of our beams, and Phazon Suit is another hard requirement. Because to fight the second phase of Metroid Prime, you acquire the Phazon Beam by standing in those pools that Essence spawns. That actually doesn't happen unless you have Phazon Suit. So that is another hard requirement. So beams, Phazon Suit, as well as artifacts. to gain access to the impact crater. And I guess by extension, we need space jump to climb Phazon Core.
Yeah, it's
But-
pretty cursed to get up there without it. We do help the runners out. We place hints in Artifact Temple for the locations of all 6 artifacts. If you collect those artifacts and fight Ridley, we will also give you a hint for where the Phazon suit is. Although that, while the artifact rooms are specific, we'll tell you the exact room each artifact's in, the Phazon suit hint only tells you the area.
Mhm. But usually by the time that we get a Phazon suit hint, it's like they're like last few checks in the area, so it's not the hardest.
Yeah, particularly if Plasma is your last beam, it's pretty common that Phazon's going to show up in lower mines. Sometimes it'll be one of the other random Plasma lock checks in the other regions, or just happen to get placed somewhere earlier, but it can be a pretty good bet. Lower mines is a pretty common place for Phazon suit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just games that you love, check for a rando. Rando just adds a lot of replayability to a game. We see that with Prime here. This is like our not third. This was like, how many years have we been doing all these tournaments now? Like in 2019, so it's like 4-ish years. Yeah, we love Prime. So yeah, I'd highly recommend just checking out randos for your favorite games in general. Be surprised at what gets randos and how much fun they are. Yeah, it seems Elias is still having some trouble with the console. It's not cooperating with him, so still be chilling here for a few minutes. In the event that Elias doesn't get this sorted out in like the next 5 minutes, are they going to have to opt for a reschedule, or?
No, it's more 15-minute, like, if you no-show, that's when we cancel the race. So since Elias is here and working on it, as long as we have some hope for the future, we'll give him the time he needs to get stuff sorted out here.
Alright. In the meantime, we can just watch Samus doing the JoJo dance. I think that's it. I don't know where Red gets these. He has like a ton of these like animations for his OBS. It's got like another one of like the fusion, the Samus and the fusion. Like, I don't know who made that or how he found it. I gotta ask him after this race, actually. So I guess, does Elias like actually say what was wrong with his SD card? He said it was the SD card, but I don't know exactly what. Did it get corrupted, perhaps? Is he preparing for Prime 3 race today? That's
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a casual emulator player, so I don't have to deal with all this stuff.
Man, you gotta step it up. Dude, those loads will save you.
I know. It does actually feel like a relatively significant disadvantage in Prime, honestly.
I mean, honestly, the worst part, like in my experience, there's like only really 2 doors that I've actually like cared about when it comes to the room loading. That's obviously Artifact Temple, because that is like the longest load in the whole game. Then I've also noticed that I think it's Omega Research, the room with all of the power pirates on the way to Central Dynamo.
Yeah, Mega Research is really bad. Reverse Energy Core is really bad. And then just like there can be little subtle ones where like a console player, the door will open so that you can like boost and keep boosting through the door, whereas just that slight delay results in you bonking into the door. And so like even sometimes a quick load that isn't quick enough can actually be kind of punishing. So I don't know how much it all adds up to, but it does result in a little bit of an advantage for our console players. But yeah, shout out to Jeff keeping a list of all the VODs of our races so far. So again, this is the last race of this extended first round of the Swiss. We allowed 2 weeks for this to account for GDQ being last week. But from here on out, we are looking at about 19 races a week for the next 5 weeks.
19 races a week.
Yeah. Yeah, so big shout out to all the volunteers we've had so far this week. Couldn't be putting on all these restreams without you. And thanks in advance for everybody who's continues to sign up in the upcoming weeks. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, 19 races a week, honestly. That's going to be quite
an eventful. Good showing this tournament. 30. We had originally 39 participants. Unfortunately, one drop out, but still 38 is a pretty good crowd, which is scary as heck for me because that cut to the top 8 starts to look real difficult to get into. There are some solid runners in this tournament.
Yeah, quite a few 80% enjoyers in this tournament. But I could have sworn that we had an odd number for contestants in this tournament so far, but I don't know.
This week there was 39. So Torvis Bog got a bye this week. With VFON dropping out, we're down to 38. So it'll be everybody will have a matchup every week from here on out.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so next round. So one of the other features of this tournament, every week we are running with different randomizer settings. So this week we will continue to see our odd weekly setting, which is a vanilla start, vanilla elevators, pretty much standard basic randomizer settings. But starting with our matches next week, we're moving into the even weekly settings, which will have a random start location, some number of starting items, and randomized two-way elevators. And it'll just keep on getting weirder from there. There are some pretty interesting rule sets coming up in the future, so I'm really excited to see how everybody's able to adapt, stay on top of whatever the randomizer tries to throw at you, get your practice in all the different settings. I still have not played a single major minor seed, so that's going to be a bit of a learning curve for me.
Yeah, the only time I ever did a major minor split was in a multi-world, and that went as well as you would have expected.
Yeah, multi-worlds do their thing.
Honestly, major minor split is not that bad. It just gets rid of the tension of you thinking that the boss has progression, whereas you know that it has progression and you just have to fight it. So, I don't know, not as scary as you think it would be. It's the same principle as why I enjoy when we have artifacts in bad locations, because we know that that's not actually important, quote unquote. You know, I've never done a super major minor, honestly. I'm kind of rusty at Super. I haven't done that in a while.
I can't say that I'm rusty because of how much I've been playing recently, but I'm not good.
You were in this past Super tournament, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, I participated in the Super Rando League that grand finals. Several of the matches actually were just on last night. I think over the course of the next week, the last couple matches of that are going to play out. Definitely excited to see the finales of those.
I wonder if does Elias also have Dolphin? That might be. When worst comes to worst, you can just fall back on that.
Hopefully Red remembers to remove the dancing sickness by the time the race actually starts. At this point, after it's been this long, I could see forgetting.
Very distracting, yeah.
Come on, SD card, we believe in you. Send out your vibes.
Thank you all. I was trying to type that exact same sentence, but longer-winded, and race time lets you just delete my whole message when I'm typing it. Yeah, this is... technical difficulties at the start of a race is very not good for the person who's having it, because you feel like you're just behind and wasting everyone's time with some minor thing. So I've had that in the past. I feel for Elias here. Okay. So Elias says that if the console doesn't start behaving soon, he's probably going to switch to Dolphin for this race. Which I believe Red is on Dolphin anyway, so it shouldn't be the worst.
It's a good thing that Prime has a good title theme.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely worse things we could be vibing to for a little bit here.
I wish that they were able to patch the Brawl extended cut of the menu theme. That one's really good if you haven't heard it. It's like they take the song and then they just finish it, I guess. It's really good.
You got some Age of Empires 2 fans in the house. Alright, so it's not the ISP's fault. Elias is blaming Mercury being in Gatorade. Can't argue with that.
That's really good. Yeah, I don't know why that would have happened. I mean, the only thing I could have suspect that could have happened was that, like, I don't know, his like SD card got corrupted or something. My memory card at least got corrupted not too long ago because I loaded a menu mod file on a vanilla Echoes ROM, so I had to format that whole thing. Oh.
Oh.
So. Hey!
Nope.
Oh!
Maybe.
Progressive scan mode! Are we good? Looks like we are. Please, Red. Now, please don't get technical difficulties on us now. Okay. Sorry about the long wait, folks. It seems that Elias was able to figure out the technical difficulties that he was experiencing. So, we should be looking to start this soon.
Yep.
In fact, right now.
I've dropped them in the room. Probably about 45 seconds or so till we catch up. And we will finally be underway. Thank you all for your patience.
So, quick recap. Very experienced players. Elias has been in the top 8 for almost all of the past Prime tournaments that he's been in. And Red is also, I believe this is his first main Prime tournament, but he was, in fact, in CGC. So, both players have quite a lot of experience under their hands. So, this race should be a good one.
We got the countdown going on red side. All right.
And we're off.
So again, we will presumably be seeing the space jump first trick here. In these Prime games, Samus does not have a sideways speed cap. We can abuse the strafe mechanic you get when you're either locked on with your combat visor or scan visor by releasing the L button during that dash. We can get pretty good sideways movement in excess of what you'd be able to do normally and get ourselves over to this item early.
Orphs. Alright. It's under the ship.
And yeah, the logic does expect tricks like that, as well as some other tricks that are rated beginner difficulty from our runners. But you are free as you're doing these seeds to try to sequence break as well, which we're going to see immediately from Elias' side. Elias is heading to Frigate Crash Site. The logic would expect you to have Space Ship or Grapple Beam to get this item, but with some higher level Scan Dash and or some underwater slope jumps, we can get the item here out of logic.
I would highly recommend the Scan Dash over the underwater jump.
But
This
it is a
one
nothing. Another feature of the randomizer, so because we have started the runners with Charge Beam as well as 6 of the 12 artifacts, there are 7 items missing from the item pool. Those have been replaced by those Metroid.
We call nothing Metroids.
Yeah,
We've actually been... The colors on them are randomly generated, quote unquote. Not entirely sure how it works, but we've been starting to keep track of all the colors that we get from them. So
yeah,
always
fun little
nice.
spreadsheet we've got going in the community Discord.
Okay, will we get the hints read from red?
Yep, there are kind of two schools of thought on this. Some folks like to read the hints immediately. Sometimes just having that little bit of extra knowledge can help you route, and or like know that you can put off certain checks or make sure that you do certain checks early. But it does take some time to read the hints. So if you're able to hold off a bit, stumble into a couple artifacts, that'll save you a little bit of time when you're reading the rest of them later. I personally am pretty firmly in the camp that you should read them immediately, but I actually seem to be in a slight minority. Seems like more folks than not actually delay reading their artifacts until they've got some choices in terms of where to go routing-wise. Often when you have Wave and Ice Beam, a lot of the world opens up, and at that point, the hints are... at that point, you really need to know where you need to go.
Yeah, personally, I like to read my hints early as well, but more often than not, what happens is that I forget to, and then I die to scarabs, and then I have to get the hints again because I didn't read them beforehand.
Yeah, that is one of the risks you take by not doing them right away.
Yep. So that's the sole reason why I personally read them first.
So Red did not go down Root Cave, yeah?
No, but Elias.
Another slightly interesting skip here. Yeah. I do not like skipping this Root Cave item before Chozo, honestly. It's an artifact in Ruined Shrine. So here's another place where reading your hints, you would have known, don't bother coming here yet. Because I say that, but you don't know it's that item, that's the artifact, so what am I talking about? I guess finding 2 nothings already. Unfortunate.
Okay. So that
the little bit of conservative. Yep. Now Red will presumably go back and do these checks at some point, anyways. But yeah, so far the slightly more conservative play on Elias is not quite paying off yet.
I don't know. I think it's a good play, anyways. I would have done that.
I agree. Yeah, I think this is good play. Sometimes, depending on how you kind of feel you match up against your opponent, if you think they have a kind of movement execution advantage where they're going to gain several minutes on you over the course of the seed, you got to make that you just outroute them, or you can choose to potentially try to skip some of those conservative plays like this. See, boost ball location. Now, I was not paying super close attention on Red's side to see what was in main plaza. I'll get another look here as Elias enters.
Grapple ledge was a missile, I am pretty sure.
Okay.
That's all I saw.
But the half pipe, whatever that was, did just come into play here. What do we got up there? Is that more missiles?
Yeah, I think that's missile up there.
APBs. Actually, it's slightly interesting to me that both runners are making this Ruined Shrine play. I actually somewhat dislike this play. I would prefer usually to... very much question this as well on Elias' side, actually.
Getting out NSJ is quite annoying.
Yeah, well, since we picked up the item, the little invisible wall here is gone, so we can just morph and leave.
That's right.
You're always going to be coming back to this room at some point, so that artifact is kind of free to get whenever. And it probably is a little faster to get later once you have more equipment. Still didn't get a great look at a half pipe.
Answer question in chat. Yes, PBs can be morph ball locked. I believe. I don't even know if that's actually a knowledge trick in Randomizer, but some bomb walls, like in Ruined Shrine, for instance, can also be opened with super missiles, super bombs, power bombs. So bombs can be behind PBs like that. Also, there's apparently supers.
Early supers, but just for a missile expansion in the tree. We do have this extra item here now in Ruined Shrine with that boost ball in tow. See what we have up here. As well as actually, we have the lower item as well with the explosives, our power bombs. There's our boots. I'm not getting my wish today of a late space jump, but so it goes. It is somewhat uncommon to get a late space jump. And our first E-tank, that's always nice. We've been seeing a number of races an uncomfortably long time. So always nice to get your first one.
Shoutouts to Jeff, Gains and Games v Inner Slice.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a pretty brutal set. That was a really good race. I highly recommend checking Jeff versus Inner Slice if you didn't catch that one live.
That is probably the best race of round 1 so far. And also, I think I didn't see all of the artifacts, but we did see a Sun Chamber one. So that is a little bit of peace of mind. The only problem is that that's Ghosts or Flogra. You could have a potential Spider Ball on Flogra. It would be very bad.
Yeah, Red maintaining a little bit of a lead here with having skipped some of those checks in Talon. We'll be our first to head into mid-Chozo here. And Elias does need to head back to Shrine, hopefully. Elias wants these missiles, it seems like. Or is Elias skipping the return to Ruined Shrine? That would actually be quite bad. No, this is just to get the tree item. Okay.
Good.
We do have an artifact here in Watery Hall. Both of these checks are available with Spaceship and Logic.
Oh yeah, did anyone get all of those artifacts by any? Tower Chamber still requires gravity.
Yeah, this is I think a bit more difficult, and it's like more tense with the time pressure of generally being expected to do this before Flogra. But Red does get it, very nicely done there. And we'll head up to the Dynamo check. Just a missile here. And we will have to isolate the other check up there.
Yeah. I don't think Red is a fan of out of bounds in Prime, so we will not be seeing the peak.
This wall crawl is also extra stupid if you don't have bombs. It's still doable, but there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of positions you can be in where you kind of want to be able to do a bomb jump.
Oh, Upper Dynamo is an artifact anyways. Okay.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Spider Lab Aether. Yeah, and he's probably going to get the artifact on the way back to Dynamo when he gets Spider. Honestly, at that point.
Fine. It saves you having to deal with the eye lasers the next time you head to Dynamo, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. That seems kind of inconsequential, but...
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Gathering Hall dead. And...
Red going straight on to Zoid. Did Red save?
Yes, Red did save.
Okay.
So. And he does have Boost Ball. I mean, hopefully he knows.
Yeah, interesting play. We'll see if this...
Missile behind Zoid.
One out removed. We'll have to finish the fight to see if we have some vanilla bombs here. Otherwise, unless this is something like a spider ball or a beam, I wouldn't expect Red to try to keep this. Even if he is relatively familiar with the methods of getting out of here with just boost ball.
Yeah. It seems that Elias is going to make the play as well for Zoid.
Oh, interesting.
No, Red, that's not how you fight Zoid. You have to camp the spot that
Alright, down it goes. Are we rewarded for this play? No. Just a pair of missiles in Burn Dome today. And Red is going to take a reset here.
Fun fact, pressing Start, B, and X at the same time will reset your console as well. A little bit faster than navigating the menus.
Both runners showing the top of Zoid is standable here, so you can just stand here safely out of range of the flamethrower and wait for the weak spot to become visible again. Not that the fight is terribly difficult otherwise, but it does trivialize it.
Mm-hmm. Especially, I don't know if this is a thing in vanilla, but the way his like eye rotates out is deterministic. So you just, if you know the two spots, you can just sit right in front of him and then just wait as soon as his head pops out.
Yep. Yeah, it's always like perpendicular to the door, parallel with the door, perpendicular, parallel.
Yep.
Alright, so Red opting not to do the save warp is presumably going to just be diving into Lava Lake through the Chozo elevator. I like this routing. It's a good way to go through Magmore.
Especially since we have enough PVs to get through Lava Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Elias. Okay.
Yeah. Take the reset as well. Let's see where Elias heads. So yeah, we have nothing left in Logic except in Magmore right now. So the answer will be there somewhere. The Lava Lake bombs is so bad. At least we have power bombs where it's like not, it doesn't feel as risky to do this play. But yeah, if your first explosives are in Magmore, it's pretty cruel. Magmore is a very, very long hallway, except this upcoming room here in Lava Lake, you need bombs or 2 power bombs to get through. And so if you're looking for explosives there, you got to pick which side of the corridor to walk down, and if you're wrong, you need to turn around and do a walk of shame out. Never feels good. But with some explosives, we can push on all the way through Magmore here. And should pretty easily be able to find what we're looking for. Nice PB drop there.
Okay. This. Okay.
Yeah, at least if bombs are upper fiery shores again today, we will like probably know that they have to be there just unless a beam shows up here. And B, we already have boosts, so it's not in Logic to do the wall boost out, but it is a relatively straightforward trick for those familiar with it.
Yeah, apparently there is a wall boost out of there that I actually wasn't quite aware of until my race. My opponent did it. Actually, very
there's our bombs.
To learn. Okay. Well, don't have to worry about that today, anyways.
Alright, so
Slope of Doom.
bombs are awkward. They opened up checks ahead of us and behind us. I kind of like continuing on, finish up Magmore, going to Fen, but we did open up a lot of stuff in Chozo with these bombs. We have the Rune Gallery Tunnel, we have Flagra, which we know is an artifact, and we have Lower Furnace. Surprised the restream's having such... Yeah, actually, the restream bot is working perfectly fine on our end. But yeah, I've got the stream up as well, and it is struggling a bit on my PC here as well. Yeah, red continuing to preserve this little bit of a lead. Still kind of summing back from that play to skip the root cave check and for crash site check. Now I wonder if actually red does... Ooh, there's a nice little Sandoval climb there.
I did not know that.
I wonder if red pushes through Fiery Shores to pop out at Transport Tunnel B there, as well as potentially do the root cave checks out of logic. Or if he just plays into Fendrana. Okay, well that
okay.
makes me... Now we go to Fendrana.
Okay. Yeah, at this point, Arbor Chamber is still out of logic, so... And is that gravity?
Sure looked like it. Ooh, we gotta watch our health here a little bit. Okay. No need to bother with this Morph Ball puzzle. There's in Prime. If it looks like you can stand on it, you probably can. So we just kind of crawl along the rafters there and grab the item.
It was gravity, okay.
One more check here in Shore Tunnel, just a missile.
Alright, Fendrana, here we come.
Yep. Be a little careful with health here. Okay. Ooh, that was going to be a dash into the lava.
Oh, bonk. There we go.
Right, should be safe now.
We
have a save station. Oh yeah, that's right. We have Spring Ball enabled. One of the rando features.
Nice.
You can turn on the Spring Ball, which is enabled once you have Morph Ball bombs. This is a feature from the Trilogy edition of the games that's been ported back into the 1.0 that we're running here for Randomizer.
But at this point, it is an RA if you want to have it in or not. Both players need to agree beforehand.
Elias! Alright, be very, very careful. Yeah, let's kill this Bangmore. That's always a guaranteed 20 health drop, although sometimes it takes a moment for it to spawn. There we go. That gets us back a little more comfy. Yeah, look.
Heads up should help out a little bit.
Oh, he's going to play forwards. Interesting. So this is going to be a play for Root Cave Arbor Chamber. These checks are not in logic. And they're like sometimes on the way later. So I can kind of see putting them off, especially since they aren't immediately in logic. But yeah, Elias continuing with the very kind of methodical play here. Not leaving any checks isolated. You know, you could always, perhaps, your grapple X-ray are sitting here in shorelines, and you're meant to go get those out of shorelines to come back here for wave beam. In which case, getting the wave beam first would be really nice. But personally, I kind of like Red's play of just following this plasma to shorelines. Probably going to find something good here.
Mm-hmm. Good thing he remembers Chozo Ice Temple. That is indeed a plasma locked item. And I've definitely never got caught off guard by that.
Call it? You gonna see a wave beam up here? So let's check here in Chapel. There was a network error. Nice.
I sure hope this doesn't mess with the VOD archiving. I don't know if that does or not. Alright. Ice Frenzy's time.
Yep, we have one check we can get here behind the ice. The spider lock check is not accessible without some complex bomb jump tricks, but we can scout it with just space jump. See what it is. Just a missile, but we'll take that. Yeah, I actually don't have a huge missile count for this part of the game. Don't need a whole lot for final bosses to be comfy, but getting around 60 is pretty nice. There's an ice beam. Oh, is Red gonna go for this? No.
No. Don't blame him. That trick, you lose a part of yourself.
So there is a trick to get that called a HBJ. I think it's Hyper Bomb Jump. I'm not sure. But basically, with the way Prime's bomb timer works is when you lay your first bomb, a timer gets set, and when that timer expires, all 3 of your bombs come back. So what you can do is lay one bomb and kind of wait for a second and kind of waste it. Then use the next 2 bombs with good timing such that that timer elapses and you get 3 more. And basically you get 5 bombs to do a giant bomb jump with. And that gets you enough height to get up that tunnel, as well as a number of other places. Lets you get up gaps you normally couldn't.
Yeah, and there's also another bomb jump we call UBJs, which are basically the same thing as HBJs. The only difference, I believe, is the fact that HBJs, you are using the friction of the wall to like slow down like Samus's descent.
Is it just Spider, or is that Wave? Wave.
That's
okay.
all beams located. That's
wow. We are close to go mode. Spider and Plasma, or sorry, Spider and Phazon.
Okay, now hear me out. Spider, PPC. Logically, wait.
Don't think that.
That's not possible. We can't.
It's like a nice, mighty good troll though. Have to go all the way in and out of labs. Like technically, we need Thermal Visor to show up for that. But Research Lab Aether is just as good, and but luckily we do got to go to Research Lab Aether anyways. So going into labs here is a pretty safe play, even if you don't end up with any progression. You had to make this play at some point anyways.
Yeah, Spring Ball being enabled, I do believe makes triple bomb jumps easier. I am not learned in doing bomb jumps, so
yeah, I also believe that it makes that trick much easier, but I do not know exactly how to do it still, because I don't really play with Spring Ball enabled. But yeah, I think you can Spring Ball, lay a bomb, and then Spring Ball to get hit by that bomb as your 3 bombs come back, lay 3 bombs as you get propelled by the one, and then jump into those 3 bombs and get all the way up. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if Elias goes for this Ice Beam when they scout it. It would be a pretty strong sequence break here.
Especially here in Fendrana, where you would be able to just do Farfen first pass.
Yeah, Shoreline's I think wins the award for longest time to get, especially here out of labs. If we don't find this Spider Ball, I expect we're going to see a warp to start out of the lab save stations. But yeah, being able to grab that ice is pretty nice because it does take a while to get back to Ice Ruins East.
Okay, Elias should be coming up on that Ice Beam soon. We'll see what he decides to do when he finds it. Thankfully, oh yeah, we have both X-Ray and Supers, so Hydro won't be a problem. Usually if you don't, sometimes the game will want you to come through here without either of them, so you have to kind of orphan this check, which is very inconvenient for routing purposes, especially if you don't have X-Ray. Today it's thermal. Okay.
Oh boy. Alright.
Vanilla Spider, anyone?
That is not a crazy proposition.
But either way, I think it would just be... I was going to say we just finished labs and head out there, but we don't have Ice Beam to get started from the back.
Yeah, that's definitely nice with that Ice Beam door being at the very end of this very long sequence of rooms. It's nice to be able to route all the way through, but we know that will not happen because the Ice Beam is chilling back in Ice Ruins East. Save warp? No. What was that?
T
Oh,
of-
right. We know when artifacts in Aether, we have to walk back, or never saves coming this. So I think Red kind of instinctually took that. So that's a very common pivot save, where if you don't find anything in these ladder checks and labs, you just reset back to that observatory save. But we know we're going to find something, so there's no need to make it. Perhaps it was just a health refill too. I didn't see what their health was for.
We still only have one E-tank for both players, so
Yeah,
Labs is not the best place to have low E either.
It is definitely a step up in the difficulty of the enemies here. Definitely a bit more dangerous than some of the earlier game areas.
But not this room,
so
because
far.
we can just skip the whole fight trigger.
Yeah.
Like that.
There's a small gap in the trigger. If you just jump straight up, as soon as you're able to get around some collision by the door, you can avoid it by either going over or around it from there. You also can get this item without plasma, or more quickly than actually using plasma by doing that little shot over the barrier there. See what's here in Control Tower. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, that's a nice E-tank. We will happily be able to keep that, given that we are going to find an artifact coming up here in Lab Aether. Elias making a safety save here too before entering labs. Do you like that play?
It seems like he did not go for the HBJ either, so both players are going to be on a spider hunt.
Yep.
Time to say hi to Edward.
Not actually a huge number of places Spider can be. I do actually think Argus is a really good bet here after we finish labs.
The worst I would probably say might be Workstation even. Because that gravity does take us all the way back there.
The kind of nice thing is that like vanilla ice is ruled out. It's not going to be in anti-chamber. Or the key to ice, anyways, is not going to be an anti-chamber. It could be on plant if the artifact is on ghost. It could be in lower furnace.
Why are you going down here? It's a missile.
This is a bit curious. They're thinking they have ice? No?
Did he forget he doesn't have ice?
Interesting.
I am confused by that. Why would you purposefully activate Dark Labs like that?
It does save you from needing to do the control tower skip in reverse, but I am very skeptical that that saves you time relative to the time you're spending in this room, going all the way down and back up again. So this might be a little bit of time for Elias to catch up here. We've really just had, like, I think the execution has been it's been a very close execution battle between the two runners. I don't think either has really made up much time on the other. Just been a couple corners that Red has skipped that have kept him in the lead pretty much this entire race so far.
So yeah, the only purpose of labs was just that Lab Aether artifact and then heading out. So yeah, Thardis is seemingly increasingly becoming not a bad play. We'll see if runners do that. They also might opt to just do like bomb checks in Chozo that they haven't done. That could still be our spider.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of what I think Red should do here. You could ride all the way out and just go to Thardis from Rune Courtyard. I don't think I hate a save warp either, because Red hasn't done Root Cave or Transport Tunnel B, so maybe route those in the workstation.
We're just missing grapple for that, so could.
Oh, actually, yeah.
We-
Missing grapple is kind of an issue for red. It is somewhat straightforward to leave Thardus out the front entrance without Spider Ball or grapple, but it is quite difficult to leave out the back.
Yes.
So this actually doesn't route super nicely. So actually, yeah, I think the save warp is kind of what you need to do here. Unless you're really comfortable with both ways of escaping Thardus' room, or you really just want to double down on the vanilla Spider Ball.
I don't think a grab suit gets you past Magma Pool in this logic, Jeff. I believe.
Yes, I believe only the vanilla strat for Magma Pool is in logic. Red? Saving.
Save, and what does he do here? Save warp. Okay. So,
Not sure why you wouldn't just save warp out of Observatory then, unless this is like a
pivot. There, he's gonna check. For like
it's a weird place for a pivot though, unless you wanted to do the Chozo checks first.
He probably wants to check Root Cave now. Might even.
I mean, we do have. Let's see. So we do have Tower of Light and Tower Chamber have opened up to us in Chozo. Yeah, we're lacking grapple to get across Magma Pool logically. So yeah, maybe this will just be a play straight into the workstation area. I think that's probably the best probability play here.
Workstation, then attempt monitor dash. If we don't get it, then we just fight Thardus.
Yeah. And then we go at the front, save warp and Chozo from there if we don't get any hits on the way. Elias backing out after picking up that Aether Artifact, so we'll see what Elias chooses to do. And confirm, yeah, they're missing Dynamo and Sun Chamber.
I will be right back.
Okay. Alright, finally catch that check that Elias made 30 minutes ago. In Transport Tunnel B. Finding that nothing. Elias going for the Control Scour, skip and reverse, gets it. And red back into Magmor. So yeah, at this point, this pretty much has to be a play into the far Magmor checks. Well, check, that is, I suppose. The only thing we have available is Workstation. Put into logic by that Thermal Visor. Now, Thermal is logically expected to activate all those thermal conduits, as well as fight Thardus. However, Thermal isn't actually hard required to do anything in this game. You can always activate those thermal conduits blind if you know where they are, which these runners should be able to do. In fact, I'd be surprised if Red even activates the thermal wall in this room.
Alright, I'm back.
Well,
Seems that Red is still on his way to Workstation.
Elias also going all the way out the front of Labs. So we'll see if this is going to be a Thardus commitment from Elias, or if this is also a save warp that I don't understand. In the meantime, Workstation is one of our high-value checks we have here. Let's see if this is the answer. No, just a missile.
So yeah, our only logical check from here is Thardus. We still need grapple for monitor station, but we can get it with a good dash. See if players attempt it.
That's actually kind of interesting. Thardus could be grapple for Spider in Quarantine Monitor. Just vanilla Spider with extra steps. So Elias thinking, I don't understand why neither runner didn't just save warp out of Observatory. Seems strange to me. That was an opportunity, I think, for either of them to make up some time on the other.
Well, since seeing as Red didn't save at workstation, it makes me think that he wants to come back to Moon Courtyard for some reason. Alright. And...
Oh, misses the dash. Unfortunate. That's pretty much a one-shot. There is a very bad slope jump we can do to get back up there without Spider or grapple.
We could also, after we beat Thardus, we can reload this room and do some enemy manipulation.
This is true. Yep. A big Sheegoth will spawn in here. If we lure her over towards the ledge there and kill her, we can stand on her while she is dying. It's a kind of cruel method to climb the room, but it does work.
And it does indeed suck, because enemy manipulation in this game is very bad. Pretty much in all aspects.
Alright, Elias is going to do the Chozo cleanup, so now this kind of is, whoever is right is going to be way ahead. Tower of Light has been a hot spot for progression in recent seeds this week. See if it pays out again. Gravity Suit also could be pointing us towards Tower Chamber, but also could similarly have been pointing us towards the workstation area. Although with Super Thermal, we could have just gotten here from the front as well.
Turned a little bit out of that skin list.
A little bit of trouble with this climb here.
You don't typically want to actually turn your dash like that. You want to focus more on forward and backward movement, because that actually speeds up your dash. Turning like this will just tank it because of the speed cap.
Yeah, once you start heading forwards, the speed cap does apply, but luckily for this dash, it's not a huge horizontal distance, so you can kind of afford to give up that little bit of speed if it helps you land where you're intending to land. And not Tower of Light, how about Tower Chamber?
Oh,
yes!
There it is.
Huge find for Elias here. I think is now pretty comfortably in the lead. Unless this is like exactly phase on suit on Thardus. This starts to look pretty bad for Red. Luckily for Elias, we don't even need this Ice Beam yet. We can just clean up our last two Chozo artifacts here, get our phase on suit hint, and then go find our Ice Beam.
That's right.
That would probably be the play I like to see. So I think I'd like to see a reverse Flogger here, and follow that up into the up dynamo check. Does appear to be what Elias has in mind as well. Nope, perhaps the forward plant?
Probably playing for Dynamo first. Although, I feel like it'd be better to... I guess that would guarantee that you'd have to do Ghosts if you wanted to route that way. But
doing Magma Pool check. I question this.
At this point, yeah,
we
I'd
don't
say
need
just
to do any extra checks until we get a phase on suit hit.
yeah,
Plus, I
I'd
think
say
phase on is much more likely to be ice locked than somewhere around here. Now, granted, this is locked by
team combo.
a mean combo. We've already got the two good ones. Wave
Buster. Okay, Red is save warping and now goes to Chozo now. So he should happen upon Spider.
So this starts to close the gap again a bit here for Red. And you know that Thardus kill, well, if Elias is comfortable with Thardus skip, and like the optimal play after you get your Ice Beam is to like take that quarantine monitor elevator, Red doesn't need to do the Thardus skip, whereas Elias might need to. So if Elias misses that dash, gets punished by a Thardus fight, that could be a big factor here, I guess. Alright, we're going to see a forward plant here. So yeah, I guess Elias just wanted to route in that Magma Pool check. Show us... Oh! Fortunate little block there. Some standable, we can use these beehives in the layer that they're here to climb up kind of the central tree rather than going all the way around the circumference of the room. So a quick way up the top.
What layer does that? Do they despawn on the ghost layer?
When the ghosts are... Yeah, the ghost layer, I think, removes those beehives.
Oh.
Nice.
That,
Skipping the puzzle there to scan all the lore things across the room by bomb jumping over the gate.
I need to practice that. I'm still bad at that bomb jump. Even though I can still get bar skip, I find that harder.
I struggle with it sometimes too. So what I guess I did not realize is that you need to do it towards the kind of corners of the gate rather than the center of the gate, and you'll have a better time. But yeah, that's Spider Ball for red. So red is now actually not very far behind at all. Now, if red does reverse plant here, this honestly can make up some of the time even just with that.
This is also a 3 E-Tank flag group, which is kind of scary, in my opinion. I'm not the strongest at flag groups. I usually would wait until one more E before I'm comfortable with the thing.
Yeah, it depends how you approach it. If you stun Flagra and then use the kind of speed strat of bombing the slot from the outside, she'll often be in the middle of a slash when you get control again, which can be some guaranteed damage. But yeah, so what Elias is going to show us is that you do need to bomb that first slot normally, but from there on, all of those quote-unquote bomb slots that you're trying to damage to progress the fight are actually just damageable triggers. We can hit them with bombs from the outside, which saves us having to deal with these mirrors. What red could do, if red chooses, is enter this boss fight from the back. I don't like the root gallery tunnel play here, honestly. So red probably will enter the fight from the back after doing the Rune Gallery play here. Flogger won't spawn, but the bomb slots are still there and damageable, so we can just freely defeat the boss essentially without it being active. One way to speed up this fight a lot is if the boss isn't active, you can lay power bombs and try to damage 2 of the triggers on the same frame, in which case the cutscenes will overlap and you'll need to watch fewer of them to complete the fight. And since the cutscenes are really the big time loss here when fighting plan, that actually can be pretty big.
And they do have power bombs, so they can attempt to do the 2 bomb slot strat. I don't know if red is versed in that, but kind of a very precise placement of your power bombs will hit 2 bomb slots at the exact same time, saving time.
But yeah, I honestly, on both of the runner sides, I question them doing any extra checks right now. I think you really just want to rush this phase on suit and not do any checks in regions where phase on suit isn't.
Yeah, we have like so much like checks just like literally everywhere in every region that we
like this race is really close. And now both runners kind of invested a minute or more doing a couple rando checks in Chozo. And I think they may well prefer to have that minute back if this ends up being a pretty close race here at the end.
But it does turn out that the artifact is indeed on Ghost, so... yeah, so... Flagra playing earlier was potentially scary, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
High five at Sun Chamber, just going to be different layers here. Red still does need to do the fight, as Elias is already working on the ghost. Otherwise, pretty much we're even up. Elias technically has the advantage of 1 extra artifact, but since one of those is just chilling in Watery Hall that we're going to walk right by, that's not really a big deal for Red. So Red not going for the power bomb strat, so this fight will not be much faster in reverse than it was for Elias. There is our artifact for Elias from the ghost fight. Is it wild? I'm not sure. No.
Nope.
Right.
Would have been wild if it was.
Yep. After killing some ghosts, we are awarded with being a life giver. Not quite sure how that works, but it wasn't me that put the artifact there.
This race is giving you life.
It's been an interesting one.
We've seen a lot of races where like things have just been decided in like the first 30 minutes, and then just you never make up that ground, which is kind of sad to see. But it seems to be fairly even for this whole race.
So Red will get a little bit of time save here on this last bomb slot. We aren't forced to watch the final cutscene here when doing foie gras backwards. Can just head straight to the door, which will trigger the fight, and the fight will immediately be over. Another thing we can do is if we watch the whole fight start cutscene, which is normally skippable, we can kind of preserve that ability to skip a cutscene into the death of foie gras animation that's going to start playing after this. Nope, he did skip the first cutscene here. Because the death cutscene is considerably longer than the start cutscene, you actually can save some time by watching the whole start of the fight cutscene without skipping, and then skipping it as soon as it gets into the death animation.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's actually very nice to know. Although this cutscene does give you info early on what Sun Chamber is, but that's probably not worth it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can like have rolled over and been over there and picked up the item before the door even unlocks. Alright, Elias up to 6 artifacts. Presumably going to take a save warp here, fight Ridley, and get ourselves a hint for where the heck this Phazon suit is, which is the only thing left for us to be able to beat the game. We are missing grapple as well, but that really isn't needed for anything. At least with the skill level of these runners. We do need it logically for some things, but I expect the runners to be able to work around it.
I'd say, yeah, just go fight Ridley now. You don't need Ice Beam. Still need that Phazon suit head.
Yeah, I don't like this. Oh, he's turning around. Okay, yep. Yeah, because if you go get Ice Beam now, you don't know where you're supposed to go afterwards, so you're going to need to save warp and do the fight then anyways, which then means if it ends up being in Fendrana, you got to go back there again. So better to get the hint now and know exactly what we need to do once we get the Ice Beam. And with this being an Ice Beam Go mode, this is one of those seeds where Phazon can kind of be anywhere.
Phazon in Mines.
Yeah, I mean, Mines does have the majority kind of the checks. Well, maybe not even the majority, but a good number of the remaining checks on our seed. So we've got Far Choza, we've got Far Talon, we've got Far Fen, and all of mine still in play. All of which kind of came into logic at the same time when the Ice Beam got picked up.
Fly skip? Oh. That shot was a little bit early.
Boost Ball will speed up the Ridley fight considerably here. Now that we're into this flyby phase, hitting Ridley with Boost Ball will deal massive amounts of damage and skip us straight into the final phase of the fight. Saves probably a couple minutes of the fight, honestly. Gotta wait for it to land. We're also seeing Elias set up in the corner here. When we get into this phase 3, when he doesn't have enough room to dash forwards, he's much more likely to give us the pattern we want to see, which is him opening his mouth rather than charging up for a dash. Unfortunately, we do end up kind of slowly pushing him back when we're barraging him with missiles, so eventually he will be far enough back that he can start doing these dashes. Okay, so we have to go for these snipes.
Too late. If you stun his mouth too late, he becomes invincible and you can do no damage during that phase.
That was really unlucky for Elias. If I get the invincibility glitch, he almost never goes into a dash after that for me. I can't believe he got an invincibility into a dash. That's really unlucky. Nice. Red, don't forget the artifact here. There we go.
Strategically put off artifact.
Yep. And that will be all 6 for Red. Presumably we'll also be making the save warp we do in this fight. So yeah, we got Red is behind by a Ridley fight and a few rooms. Not a huge margin. Could come down to how we route whatever region we get this hint for. Red not save warping? There we go. Yeah, Ice Beam is chilling in Ice Ruins East Spider Track. We had to come back to Chozo to get our Spider Ball out of what was it, Tower Chamber. Is that where it was? I don't even remember where it was anymore.
Yeah, Tower Chamber. It's in mines.
Phase on mines. Who could have thunk?
All right, so we're gonna go get our Ice Beam. Then from there, PPC maybe. That'd be a faster way to enter mines. But at that point, you would have to decide which way you go first.
Yeah. So yeah, this could come down to whether you do upper or lower mines first. And I think I think you could choose either one at this point. Like, Ice opened all of it up. We've had every other item for a while. The only thing that, like, theoretically opens more checks and mines up is that grapple, I think, is required to get across MQB. So, like, theoretically, a longer logic chain could have put grapple somewhere ice locked and then phase on like MQB or OP.
Interesting. I don't.
So I think like those last 3 checks and mines are slightly stronger than any other checks, but like also that's a huge commitment to go down all the way there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, not 100% sure what the best way to mines from Ice Beam is.
I'd
could just say warp in shorelines. We could go for a Thardus skip dash, but that has the potential to get hugely punished if we fail it. No, we can't. Oh no, we have Spider now, so yeah, we can get out of the room.
Oh yeah, Spider is also another way to get out of that way. I forget about that. I've not used that Spider track very often. No red. Ooh.
Oh.
He actually gets the cutscene. That only ever happens if Ridley's in the air and he runs out of health like that. Oh.
Elias is in the lead. It is not like a guaranteed lead though, because it could definitely come down to how we route phase on mines, which is where our artifact is. Red needs to finish up this fight, get a hint, and then follow Elias back to Ice Ruins East for our Ice Beam. So Red is about behind by the cleanup of this fight and the walk that Elias has done so far.
So yeah, very tight race.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Ridley, please. Play nice. Too late.
Oh, gosh. So one thing Red could have done differently in this fight is when you get to the like final half of the last part of this phase, you want to use missiles at first until he gets stunned again, and then when you get him vulnerable again, use a super to finish him off. If you try to use missiles a second time, he'll get stunned again, and you'll have to 3-cycle the last phase. So it's much better to use supers if you have them to finish off the fight. Because yeah, especially with him being so rude there towards the end, that did actually cost a bit of time.
Elias has acquired the Ice Beam. Where does he go from here? Gonna save warp? Honestly, at this point, Elias hasn't fought Thardus yet, so he probably does not like the prospect of going through there to get to workstation.
Alright, so yeah, it looks like we're going to take a gander through Magmore here, head to the PPC elevator, enter mines from the back. This is a rare seed where I actually like dropping down to check PCA from behind. It is uncommon that I like that play, but this is a seed where it's actually maybe a good idea. Particularly if you're considering routing upper mines first. Trying to get that extra bit of information to potentially change your route if necessary could be good. If you're definitely doing lower mines first anyways, then don't check it. Just go all the way through lower mines. But yeah, I do like that scout if you are considering doing upper mines first.
Personally, how I would route this is that I would have probably taken a safe warp in shorelines and then gone to overgrown cavern and done bar skip into mines. I feel like that would probably, because I'm in the camp of not making the decision and just routing all of mines in one go. So that's usually how I would go.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the save warp was faster or not if you wanted to go to PPC rather than walk in here from Monitor Station. Probably pretty close. And then similarly, it's probably pretty close doing the bar skip route as well. If you're not super confident at bar skip, then like you are kind of risking getting hung up there. Versus like this is kind of a long walk, but there's nothing too fancy about it. Yes, both runners have the hint. Elias is kind of strictly ahead. Red has to go back to Ice Ruins East still, pick up the Ice Beam, and then can choose to go where he wants with it. Actually, still a low E-Tank seed. Red's still taking the kind of safe strat in Twin Fire's tunnel there. Or whatever that room's called. It's probably not that, is it? Elias, so a couple rooms away from mines, which is where we are looking for this Phazon suit. Yeah, not the comfiest mines. Only 20% damage reduction. Only 3 E-Tanks. Only like 1.5 actual current health. Mines is a bit spicy.
Good content for the watchers.
Yep, health management definitely an issue here.
Did we even see any others? I don't think we skipped any.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
All right. EPC. Thankfully,
Always checking this first. We have X-ray to scout if we want to preserve a power bomb, which we will. Power bombs are at a premium. Drop system in this game notoriously unreliable at giving you PBs when you need them. There are a few guaranteed spots. Sendina in particular. The vanilla power bombs room has 4 guaranteed drops. It's nice to completely refill us. So where are we going?
looks like we're going to lower mines.
Indeed. Yeah, this is probably the play I would make too.
Personally, I would have still gotten elite control access though before heading to vent shaft.
That's an interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting one. You are delaying that check quite a bit. It's like slightly more efficient to route it in later. But yeah, you are giving up the. You are potentially falling way behind someone here if it was just an elite control access. And they scouted first.
How does Red get to mines? So he...
For Red, I think I just go through Thardis' room.
Actually, no, he can't. He save warp. He save scummed out of Thardis. Actually, he didn't do the slope jump, so you would have to fight him again. So
yeah, or nail the Thardis dash. So it looks like he is also thinking the walk through Magmor is better. I might have taken the save warp just because I don't think it's that much slower and it refills my health. I kind of want that health back right now. Elias killing the drone. This wasn't Phazon, was it? No.
Nope.
It is not necessary to kill this drone. In previous versions of the Rando, there was a crash risk if you... well, actually, you could always just leave. But if you kill the drone and then don't do the maze, there is a risk of crashing.
He might not know that.
But yes, that has been patched out. It is always safe to proceed if you don't want this item, whether or not you have killed the drone. So yeah, if this is nothing, you should just leave. So Elias is going to give Red a little bit of time back here, depending on how... Okay, this is a free maze. That's good.
That was looking really bad, but that's a 10% players are screaming cheers for joy right now.
Yeah, some of the mazes, so all the mazes are kind of intended that you're supposed to have to go to 2 different puddles to advance through them, but sometimes the design of the maze lets the first pool kind of short circuit the intended path for the rest of the maze, and you're just pretty much done halfway through. So we do get our guaranteed power bomb refills here. And with 4 capacity, that's plenty to get through the rest of mines here. So Red needs to choose upper mines, I think, to really have a chance here. See what he chooses. I think if it is down here in lower mines, it's going to be pretty hard for Red to catch up.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if Red's going to go upper mines, because if I know personally, if I were to go upper mines, I would have decided that from the start and would have done reflecting pool into bar skip. But then again, I don't know how good Red is at bar skip, so this might be their play.
Used to be a 90% killer, like even for folks who are comfortable speedrunning the game, it used to be a hit or miss kind of trick. Sometimes it just does not feel like letting you over.
We hated that trick so much that we found a faster route that doesn't use it.
Indeed. Yeah, Red losing time here with these kind of health-conscious strats, which, like, that's better than dying, but also you are kind of losing time to not being full health.
Okay. I didn't see Elias peak MQA, but it didn't seem like it was anything.
There it is. That is go mode for Elias Thompson at the 1 hour 7 minute mark. Well, pretty comfy go mode time here. We already have Ridley down. Just need to get to the MQB save safely here with these 3 E-tanks, and then go do some final bosses. Nice snipe there on the Hunter Metroid. A long way away with a very slow beam.
We don't like it. Hunter Metroids.
They are jerks. Gonna opt for the R-jump strat here across
Fungal Hall A.
Yeah. How are we supposed to remember the names of rooms that don't have items in them? Who cares?
Yeah. Why you play bingo, then you learn them anyways.
True.
Seems that Elias is rocking the green Phazon suit today. That's an interesting choice. I haven't seen that before.
I do always enjoy Team Green supporters.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elias.
Shoutouts Team Green. Okay, where's Red going to go? So at least he's going to attempt to skip.
Oh, wants to go for upper. So that that was the potential winning play.
He might turn around at Elite Control Access.
Yeah, possibly was just to get the 1 extra check. Yeah.
So still no grapple yet. That could be a little neat thing we could find. I don't think we logically needed it for anything at this point.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Red going up. Okay, I like it. Just wasn't the answer. Nope. Changing your mind. Or maybe we want this grapple for ore processing, yeah. Or processing is like one of the few rooms that like grapple actually can make much better. Trying to jump all the way up to the top is pretty painful.
That last standable is quite annoying on the yellow spider lip or whatever it is. I don't know what to call it. But yep, seems like if everything goes according to plan, this should put Elias as the winner of this race. Both already done Ridley, so let's head straight to Exo. And we got supers and ice spreader in hand, so this will be relatively clean.
Yep, those are the preferred beam combos. Supers in particular really make the power phases relatively free as opposed to one of the more painful ones. Ice beam is pretty good if you're able to land the hits. It does real good damage, but that beam is real slow. So ice spreader can make things a bit easier on you.
Not to mention, also, I learned this from RoboScout. Apparently, the ice spreader actually does more damage than a super, specifically on Exo, because it's actually a Metroid, and you get bonus damage for ice-based attacks on all Metroids, including Exo.
Yep.
I did not know that.
That's why the ice phase is like doable in 2 shots, even though, as well as plasma, even though ice beam normally deals less damage than plasma.
Okay.
We are into the fight here.
So, quick rundown of the fight. Basically, bottom line is that we want to skip wave phases of Exo. Wave has no benefits to it whatsoever, so we can get oversplash damage by after Exo gets initially into that like stunned recoil animation. In lower subchambers, he will like charge and then turn around. We can actually get damage off of those times, so that will affect not the phase that's currently on, but the next one. And what we really want is that next wave to be wave, so we can just not have to worry about wave. So we'll see what pattern he gets here. Situation in this case would be power, wave, ice. Usually, yeah. Each subchamber, Exo has deterministic, not quite deterministic, but he's guaranteed to be every phase once per subchamber. And how would you say it? It's like he adds a beam phase every subchamber. So subchamber 1, just power wave. Next subchamber, power wave ice. Subchamber 3, power wave ice plasma. Subchamber 4 is where things get kind of spicy. He can do anything he wants to, whether it be charging you, switching phases in the middle of attacks, and even doubling animation speed, which is, we don't want that. Now we get here, plasma, yes.
It's a good starting phase.
Especially during this grab animation, we can just hit him without having to worry about anything. So now he's going to do a charge, hit him in the face while he's running, and then get a turnaround shot. Nice. And it's a wave.
Yep, that's perfect. Exactly what you want to see.
So at this point, it doesn't really matter what phase we get. I think we would prefer ice. We can get it done faster and fewer shots. Yeah, we'll just get an ice spreader here and finish this out in this subchamber 3. Ooh, that was kind of close.
Well, 4th heat tank's not horrible for red, but not what we're looking for.
Elias should have wave plus 3, yes. It was in Nitro Pool. Yeah, you say it that way. So now, subchamber 4, things get kind of wacky. The only really thing that we can do at this point is get close to Exo and make him do the melee manip, so that will prevent him from changing phases for the most part. But yeah, this is not looking so good so far.
Actually, maybe if you use the Waybuster here. We've got 55 missiles left. We actually could have afforded it.
Does it? I think. Doesn't it actually? Isn't it like actually not that bad? Like, it's just. I think it's purely just the missile cost for it.
Yeah, it just uses too many missiles.
Please. I was like 4 changes, and now he's fast. This is that shot. It's that.
Oh, and it changed right back to plasma. That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah, really good cycle there. That looked like a hit.
Did he? Oh, misses that shot. Yeah. Sometimes if you don't get the charging shot, when he turns around, 2 E-tanks shouldn't be so bad. We have all of our visors.
Should get some health refills here. There we go.
X-ray pool. Where is he? He's behind you. That seems like a good position. I don't think the good one's good.
I think it's alright. A move to the right would be really bad here, but we can prevent that from happening with these attack cancels here.
Nice. That might be... Okay, there we go. Okay. That's good.
Yeah, Essence has a... Oh, it was bad. Unfortunate. Yeah, Essence has a scripted number of actions it wants to take before lighting the next pool. But we can interrupt its actions by hurting it. So we shoot it, stun it, let it wait long enough to take another action, then shoot it again. And that lets us get from pool to pool more quickly than we would otherwise. The other thing we're trying to avoid is letting Essence try to drop a pool too close to that exoskeleton carcass over there. Because what can happen is it'll just fail to lay a pool, but change phases anyways, and then we lose the ability to interrupt it, and we get to wait the full, I don't know, 40 seconds, minute, for it to change phases again.
Nice sync morph there.
We now try to finish the fight here by doing some pool cancels. So the game only depletes like the amount of phazon in the pool when you are standing in the pool and firing. But when you leave the pool, the game lets you fire the phazon beam for a little bit after you leave the pool, so you basically get to shoot it for free. So doing that lets us deal more damage at the pool than we should be able to otherwise. He gets it done. Nicely done. GG's. Your GG's in chat for Elias.
Should see him show up for an interview soon, as finishing with a race time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, 38 seconds. Yeah. Let's see.
Hey Schwartz, guess who your next round opponent is?
Oh. Nice. Welcome, Elias. GG's.
Hello.
Hello.
Great to be here. Thank you for the GG.
Yeah, well played.
Yeah, it was a little sketchy at times. For the most part.
It's an interesting race. Y'all routed pretty similarly. The only thing was Red did a few kind of skips, like they didn't do the item below Root Cave at the start of the game. I forget what else. A couple of, like, they didn't do Frigate Crash Site. So they actually ended up kind of maintaining a little bit of a lead for most of the race. But eventually you kind of clawed it back through movement. And then the big decision was going up in phase on mines or down. And unfortunately they chose up. So they just now found their Phazon suit.
Yeah, the gamble.
Mm.
The dream start of Morph Ball and then missiles threw me a little bit because it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And so that probably caused me to be a tad more thorough in the very beginning than I should have been.
I liked your play, honestly. I mean, it didn't like pay out. Like those 2 checks weren't anything, but I liked doing them. You never know if you're gonna like a Varia suit or something.
It makes sense, right? Because you don't know when you're going to be back to your ships. You might as well do the Morph Ball missile and all the missile checks, so you can spend time in Chozo, which didn't it? The progression at the beginning was interesting, right? Because I was expecting bombs, they never showed up. Got power bombs, got everything else. The Varia suit had me questioning what was in logic and what wasn't. And Spider Ball, for that matter, was that way as well.
Yeah.
Spider was kind of the big decider early. Yeah. Or I wouldn't really say big decider, but that's when you kind of got the lead was after getting Lab Aether, which you both got, you immediately opted to go do Chozo checks, whereas Red fought Thardus and wasn't rewarded. So
yeah, I mean Thardus is always a gamble, I think. Unless, things are really pointing you to Thardus, which I guess at that point they might have been. Yeah. But
yeah, the thermal in labs was pretty suspicious to me.
It was. I was just like, okay, noted. I think that the Aether was the 4th artifact I got, and at that point I hadn't checked artifacts yet. I was like, all right, I'm just going to check. And the remaining 2 were in Chozo and Sun Chamber, which was just great. So I was just like, all right, I'll finish up here. I had to double back, and then we'll go to Chozo. Hopefully find Spider and or Phazon. Did end up finding Spider, so that's when I cleaned up artifacts. And I get to my ship, and I'm like, there's no reason I shouldn't check the Phazon hint. So that's when you visibly see me just sort of turn around and change my mind.
Yeah, I think you both kind of did that double take. Like the instinct is just go get your ice beam, but actually, I think it was.
Hang on a minute.
To get the hint first.
Yeah, because that lets you skip. Like, it removes frigate from your mind. It unburns you from a lot of things. At that point, I'd be Ridley. I'm just like, okay, I go get my ice beam, which is in the front Vendrana. Then what's the fastest way to mines at this point?
Yeah, I was really struggling with an answer there. Because you could have save warp for PPC, you could have save warp for the front, you could have Thardus skipped, or you could have walked through Magmar, and they all seemed about equivalent.
It's one of the few times where Thardus skip was probably the best play if you can do that consistently. The Thardus skip is a play, but I've only done it a handful of times, not a practice trick. So I think that's probably never going to come up in an actual setting.
Yeah, and it's so risky if you're not super confident. So.
I mean, granted, you have power bombs out the wazoo, plasma beam. You had everything to make him fast, but it's still a fight. So,
It's the one thing I found kind of curious was I was wondering why you, when you were heading back to Chozo to look for Spider Ball, why you went all the way out of labs rather than just save warping out of observatory.
Yeah, I forgot.
It was because both of you did that, and I thought both of you were making the Thardus play, and I thought that was why you were both going out of labs the whole way. But then both of you save warped out of Rune Courtyard. So I was like, wait, do they know something I don't?
I totally blanked out on that. I'm so used to the save station in front of Thardus being the staging point to go into labs, and then if you find anything, you have to snake your way back out. But at that point, it could have been that I hadn't decided I was going to save warp yet, but chances are I just forgot.
Yeah, it was awkward because I would have wanted to do all those thermal lock checks coming out of labs, but not having grapple actually makes that, and not having spider makes that kind of suck. Doing fires from the front, it's only somewhat it's reasonable to leave Thardus with a slope jump out the front.
Yeah, and
it's
really
if you're
right next to Thardus, that's one of the times you're just well, should I do it or shouldn't I? And remembering that I didn't have either grapple or spider, and things pointing me away from Thardus at the time, at least in my mind, I was just we'll not do that.
Yeah, there was more in Choza to do that I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least,
not having wave.
grab the rest of the artifacts, hope something's on the way, and thankfully Spider was. Although that Spider location, like, I was mostly checking Tower of Light and the chamber below for phase on suit. And I find Spider Ball instead. I'm just like, man, I just really don't know what's on at this point. Randomania is so great about how granular its trick settings are, but trying to understand what's in logic and what isn't if you haven't memorized every single little thing is a pain for me personally.
There's a lot, yeah. I know CC put together like a spreadsheet, I think that's in Tournament Resources, that actually is a pretty comprehensive list, kind of on a trick-by-trick, room-by-room basis. So that might be worth taking a peek at. I
would agree. I did not know that was there.
Also, friendly reminder, there's no rule against checking outside resources during a race. You can absolutely just, pause your game, pull up a video of somebody doing a trick, or look at the... You are allowed to do that. You should do that when you feel that that would be the best thing to do.
I want to say that in the first tournament I did... Yeah. I want to say that in the first tournament I did simultaneously watch a video tutorial on a trick while I was playing in a race. Like,
I think I did that as well.
I've done that before as well, yeah.
I don't know if I paused it. I think I was like just slowly moving in a straight line somewhere, but I just pull this up.
So that definitely might be a good resource to just have on hand during future races.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well, the thing is though, like this tournament is interesting because every week's something different. I think the trick settings are probably the same, right?
The trick settings are the same. Yep.
For all of them, but then you're starting with different things. I think the goals change sometimes. I don't know. I'm pretty excited. Like this first round was pretty much like a de-rust for me in terms of settings. Like this is the tournament settings I'm used to playing. And then next week is a little spicier, and then the last 4 weeks are just, what fun thing can we do this time?
I'm really looking forward to it. Dorado in particular is going to be a very interesting week to watch. I think those seeds are cruel a lot of the time.
I think in some form or fashion I've done most of like the iffier presets that are coming up before. But just having to like get in that mindset week after week is going to be fun.
Yeah, I've definitely got some presets I got to practice. For major, minor, I still haven't done any of, and then I think I haven't done that fighting chance one yet either. Although that one I feel like is going to end. But with the elevators being vanilla, kind of simplifies it.
A little bit.
I am looking forward to the armory hunt for week 6.
There's a few of them, yeah, where I'm just like, I've never done this way before. I'm looking forward to it.
Starting out with like all of your movement items, like at the beginning of the game, is just so freeing. Just like
freeing and induces decision paralysis from the very beginning.
We do have our round 2 matches already updated in challenge.
Oh yeah. Reggie was just hovering over the win button, waiting for this to be over.
So Elias looks like you're going to be going up against Jay, La Competencia. Schwartz and I are going to be throwing down in the booth here.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Yeah.
So true.
As someone said in chat.
And then Red is going up against Interslice. That's not good.
That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Yeah.
The number one tip for this tournament was don't go against Interslice in week 2.
Interslice is very good at even.
Yeah, he's number 1 seed for a reason, right? Yeah. I missed some of the stuff that was just around this first round. Did Interslice forfeit for some reason, or did he just actually lose his race?
He actually lost his race.
It is. I don't want to spoil it. I would check that race out. It was a pretty
interesting one.
Yeah,
okay.
I like how people just assume, oh, did he just not show up? Like, it's so
like,
hard to believe that he actually lost.
It's the first round is like all the top seeds versus all the lower seeds, so you expect most of them to go a certain way, and so you pay special attention to the upsets where the ones at the bottom win, and it's just like I wonder how that one in particular happened.
I highly recommend seeing how that upset went about. Is very interesting. Yeah. Maybe we'll see Red do it again. We'll see Inner Slice take it 0 for 2.
Inner Slice is just that rusty and unlucky.
Rando.
We only had three upsets this first round, and the favorites did perform pretty well. Yeah, I do like. Yeah, the matches will get. As Swiss tries to match you up against people with the same record, the matches will get.
Oh yeah, the later matches get pretty insane.
I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Which I think is going to be really fun because you get the insaner presets to go with them. Mm-hmm. So it's just fun all around. So I would like to take this moment to apologize for this race starting 30 minutes late.
Yeah,
that's okay. Now we know the technical difficulties can happen, but you're able to get it sorted.
I practiced perfectly.
So it played out good for both.
A group effort.
Looked like those attack cancels might have been a little too quick on Red side. I'm not sure if that was all skipping attacks there. Yeah,
you want to shoot the beam again when Exo's jaw goes back into place. That's usually the reference I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty easy if you're just used to like muscle memory timing to accidentally do it too early, because especially if you're like, if he starts off next like close-ish to his skeleton, you really don't want him to move that way, so you tend to jump the gun sooner rather than later, which did not work out for me.
Yeah. One thing I'm not sure if you're aware that the thermal phase always, maybe all of them, but especially the thermal phase, wants to spawn on the opposite side of you and the pool. Like if you draw a line from the pool to you, it wants to spawn on the opposite side of that. So you like kind of accidentally manipulated Essence into spawning closer to the Exo by like rolling into the pool really quickly.
Yeah.
Can be something to watch for.
I've sort of realized by watching other people that there's a way to sort of manipulate where he spawns and just line up your shot immediately, but I haven't taken the time to figure that out, obviously. Yeah. GG.
GG's.
There's a race time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, 30 seconds.
Extended interview invite as well to Red. Let's see if they're able to join us.
Can we give a shout out to the seed hash of boost fission power? Just so powerfully sounding. I didn't pay too much attention to it, scrambling to get things ready, but it's a solid seed hash.
What was we had a race, I think it was, I forget, but it was the last race that I commentated. We had, the hash was something like Frigate Temple or something like that. And
telling you where everything is.
Yeah, there wasn't any majors in there, but there was a shiny missile in there.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool to see.
Oh, I was on that race. Oh, that was a great shiny missile.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
That was so good. I think I was tracking though. I didn't get to say anything.
Yeah.
That race was awesome. I'm so glad we found one so early. I don't know if we're going to see another. We probably will, but who knows?
I feel like anytime... Oh, neither of us found Flamethrower. I wonder where that was.
Red is going through the credits here, so we might be able to catch it. The grapple you missed was just in the boombox, and one room farther in the mines than you went.
I thought about it, but...
Crossway. Flamethrower. Interesting.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, no one went that way, so...
Yeah, it crossed my mind, but I didn't even have Ice Beam yet, and that's a little fickle to route if you don't have Ice Beam, even if you can just save warp out. So I just sort of...
Yeah, once you saw the ice, there really wasn't anything that could be in Farchozo anymore, because Spider gave you ice.
Just phase on until we knew where that was, yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, it could have been phase on, I suppose.
Yeah,
But
the only
I really liked hard rushing the hint this seed.
Yeah.
Just because so much of the game world hadn't been explored yet, you really wanted to be able to focus down
Yeah.
where you're going to do checks.
haven't gotten a response from Red yet. Don't know if he will rejoin us or not. Asked him in the race time.
In the meantime, you do give these runners a follow. They put on a great race today. Honestly, the execution was great on both sides. Was like really closely fought throughout the mid game, like until a couple of those riding decisions at the end. Really well played by both of you.
Yeah, it's interesting when these tournaments kick off. Like the lower seeds are seeded that way mostly because they haven't been in a tournament before, and so you really, if you can't find videos of their play, their gameplay, which I couldn't for Red, you have no idea how good they are actually. And so I just was going in blind, had no idea of any concept of what their skill level was, and was going for broke. So I'm looking forward to watching this race back.
Yeah, so Red had been part of the CGC tournament. They teamed up with Nye.
Okay.
That, and yeah, I've run a ton of practice races with Red. Been pretty active in the community lately. So yeah,
I think I'm one of those people that
watch.
comes out of the woodwork every time one of these specific tournaments happens, and then I go hibernate again.
Don't worry, there are
for you, though. Top
there
eight
are
every
plenty
time.
of people who do that.
Yep. I guess at this point, I'm going to interpret this as a declining of the interview from Red. I think we can probably start to wrap up here. But yeah, I guess any final thoughts on the seed, Elias?
This really was a case of the good, the bad, and the ugly, I think. Mostly good and ugly. There wasn't anything terribly bad, but it was fun. It was a fun time. It was a nice little intro for me personally into this tournament, I think. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice to have
Looking forward to
1 week
further
of
rounds.
kind of standard stuff. Yeah, no, good luck in your future rounds.
Thanks again for commentating and tracking. I appreciate it.
Yeah, happy. Yeah. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Op, for doing the tracking for us. It's a pleasure to come with you as always, Schwartz.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that is a wrap for week 1. Stay tuned. We got tons and tons of races. We're going to be cramming them all into 1 week at a time now. So lots of races to come in the future here. Thank you, volunteers. We appreciate you. Hopefully we can get as many of these restreamed as possible. I think with that, we will see you next mission.
Later, skaters.